So, sorry that my voice is super low, but I was sick for a little bit. So my voice is mostly, it's half there. But I wanted to read a story from a book that talks about, borderline personality disorder. My psychiatrist thinks I have this. My therapist thinks it might be bipolar depression, but considering the fact that medication doesn't seem to really work, at least not in the not for the extended period of time that it's expected to, because I continue to have ups and downs, regardless of the medication that I'm on. And so I thought I would just read a story where I can kind of relate to parts of it and also talk about, attachment types. So this story is about a person named Tony. So, here goes the story. Tony's mother often told him that he was a burden, a disappointment, and a failure. As early as Tony can remember, he wanted his mother to love and care for him, but the harder he tried, the more she rejected and scolded him. She put all of her energy into her boyfriends and alcohol. He always wanted to be recognized by her, but could never get it right. He tried very hard in school and got good grades to make her proud. But one time he came home with a report card with A's and B's, and his mother said, "Don't be a show-off, no one likes a know-it-all." This really stuck with him, and he stopped trying to excel in school, a habit he carried forward into college and his first job. After the report card incident, Tony turned his focus to sports. He was a very good baseball player, and coaches really liked him. One coach pulled Tony aside and said that he could help him be even better, but he'd have to practice more and for longer. Tony declined the extra help because he didn't feel that he was worth the coach's extra time and attention. And being praised made him uneasy and questioned the coach's motives. Tony always tried to get his mother to come to his games, but she refused. Except for one time at this game, Tony struck out once, got on base twice, and made three runs. When he got home, his mother complained about what a waste of time the game had been. She told him she was embarrassed that he spent his time on a sport he wasn't even good at, because he had struck out, whereas many of the other kids hadn't. Tony quit baseball. Tony really liked his first girlfriend, Pam. After 1 week together, he knew he was in love with her, but he had a feeling she would never love him the same way he loved her. He often asked her how she felt about him and tried to please her by doing things she liked. He would respond to her texts and emails immediately, so she knew she was a priority. Tony focused all of his time and energy on being close to Pam, rearranging his schedule and responsibilities to be with her while ignoring his other friends. When Pam had other things she needed to do, Tony felt alone, lost, and desperate to be with her. But he was also conflicted because he didn't feel important enough for her to spend time with. He created tests often to prove that she loved him. For example, Tony purposely posted a negative message about himself on Facebook to see if she would defend him. After 3 hours of checking continuously, she still hadn't responded, so Tony drank a bottle of vodka. Pam found him passed out, unable to wake him. She called an ambulance. Tony was very confused and conflicted about his feelings for Pam. He had developed an insecure attachment type based upon his relationship with his mother and how she treated him. He felt a push and pull inside of him. He was motivated to be close with someone to feel liked and valued, but he questioned his worthiness to be loved or to be valued at all. He couldn't really trust that he was genuinely loved and valued because he didn't really believe he was lovable and valuable. This insecure attachment and longing drove his behavior in school, baseball, jobs, and relationships. And, this book goes on to talk about attachment types. A lot of our attachment types stem from childhood, how our environment is growing up. And there are several, attachment types. There's secure, which sounds pretty obvious. It's an attachment type where someone sees themselves as valuable, important, worthy of being in this world, and they can form stable relationships. Then you have preoccupied. This one's actually mine. Having an intense desire to connect to others. Then there's dismissing, disregarding others and their emotions. And then there's the fearful attachment type, wanting to be with others but being afraid one is not worthy of love and affection. Now, as for the story about Tony, I keep mixing up words for some reason whenever I speak. I felt that I really wasn't worthy of being loved or valued because, growing up, um, the only people I hung out with were my grandmother and occasionally my mother. My mother would work nights because she was a nurse. And so, for the most part, my grandmother was in the picture and she was the one who took me out to different places. But, I had a hard time making friends in school and I wanted to actually connect with others. And it was difficult, Um, for a while I got good grades, all the way up till high school. And, I was rewarded for these good grades. So I saw value in getting good grades. I saw appraisal for it. But then in college, no one really asked me about my grades, and even if I did get good grades, it really wouldn't reflect on any, you know, it wouldn't really be reflected upon me, how important these good grades were. I wouldn't be on an honor roll, I wouldn't be getting a scholarship, I wouldn't have an incentive to continue to do well. So I kind of just stopped trying, and that tanked my GPA. My GPA went from 3.95 in high school to 3.85 in community college to 3.4 when I graduated from college, or graduated from university, sorry. um, but yeah, and I also recall oftentimes in my relationships, or my relationship with my ex, I would often question, if she actually did love me or not, because I just didn't feel like I was good enough to be loved. I always just felt that I was a disappointment or a waste of her time because, we always kept fighting about stupid shit, simple, small shit. And some things were big to her, which, I can understand, but, I just felt like I was a cause for, sorrow on her end. I thought I was just more of a disappointment to her than anything else. So, slowly but surely ended up pushing her away. As for other activities, I used to draw. And I've been drawing for a little bit, but I stopped. It's been like 3 months, maybe, since I've last drawn, like consistently. Probably 2, actually. But I'm getting to the point where I'm falling out of it again. I think the reason why is because I'm not seeing any reward for doing good in art. No monetary incentives, no, no commission requests, nothing really. So it kind of just makes me feel like my art's useless and that my skill in that particular field is just not worth having. So I kind of just stopped. I do want to continue to draw again. It's just I got to find the motivation to do it without it being monetary. But, I'm going to continue to say this till the day I die. We live in a fucked up world where money means everything. And unfortunately, that is my motivator, money. If I can have money to go out and buy coffee, do other activities, have fun with my life, then that's what I want. But, I also need something that I enjoy, a job that I at least enjoy enough to get up and go do. Not a job where I'm dreading getting up in the morning, going there, and then, just dreading going home and realizing, oh shit, I gotta eat, then do my daily grooming, my daily fitness routine, and then go to bed to repeat the process 4 more times until I get, a couple days off if I'm lucky. So, so these are the parts of the story that I can relate to, Tony not, continuing baseball because he wasn't getting the appraisal that he wanted. I'm not continuing my art because I'm not getting the appraisal or incentives that I need to continue. Tony self-sabotaging his own relationship because he didn't feel like he was worth being loved or valued. And that's the same way with me. I don't feel like I'm worth being loved or valued. And, I don't know when that would change. But as far as my attachment type, I looked at a couple little self-assessments, and it seems like mine is more preoccupied. Preoccupied attachment type is self-worth is based on gaining the approval and acceptance of others. Relationships are intense to the point of relying on individuals too much, which I did. And anxiety is reduced when with a significant other, which again is true. So those are the attachment types, or at least that's the attachment type that I have. So, I thought I would just make a video reading a story and seeing how it relates to maybe some of you, or how it relates to me. But I just wanted to do something a little bit different. But for those of you, I guess, that are wondering, yeah, I'm still alive. We'll see how that continues. But anyway, I thought I would just read that story and see what you guys thought of it. Can you relate to it? And yeah, I will talk to you guys later.